Hey, welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. As always, I'm your host with the most, the balanced blue RJ, and I'm joined by my fellow co-hosts, Scott the Gooner, Rob the Red Devil. But, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're tuning in from, we are joined by a very special guest, a very gracious host who held the It's a Football Thing crew, Borce from the football capital. Welcome aboard, my man. I'll go to you first. How you doing?
I'm doing good, boys. Thanks for having me back on. I thought after Monday night, Scott was going to sack me, but I'm surprised I still got the call up. But yeah, happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Good man, good man. We'll get right into that. Scott, how you doing?
Yeah, mate, doing well. I was on my way home from family dinner, and I literally just watched back the season preview we did, obviously on the Football Capital. If you haven't seen that, make sure you go back and check. The boys, we were actually together, not using StreamYard, so it was nice to be sitting together. There were 6 of us. It was just a good show. It was an all-round good show. So we're going to try and not double up too much tonight, but, man, I was pumped after that. It's got me really buzzing for this season.
Beautiful. Speaking of buzzing, Robbie, you look like you're buzzing, my man. How you doing?
Boys, I'm super pumped, man. Since the start of the week, it was good. Like I said, got to meet Borce and face to face. Kick off the week with a review. But man, we're touching distance away from the weekend now. It's just that feeling with a new season comes, bro. Just that new hope. It doesn't matter if your team has a bad one or a good one. It's just Premier League's around the corner, something to watch on the weekends. And all the emotions and roller coasters throughout the season. Can't wait.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you know what? It's funny, amongst all of the hype and all the fun we had on Monday, and we got to meet Big Kev and obviously Aussie Gooner, Steve, was awesome to have a chat with. Very passionate Gooner, to say the least. Amongst all of the hype and hysteria, you might have noticed something a little bit different about the layout and the logo. It's pretty impressive, I've got to say. We got a bit of help from a certain special guest here, by the way. Thank you very much for an awesome job helping us. But just wanted to, new season, start fresh. It's going to be an awesome one. But let's not dawdle too much because it's going to be the Premier League season preview, like Scott mentioned. Not going to deep dive too much into the specifics. Talk old and boot, talk old and glove. Who's going to get the manager axe first? Which player are we going to put the magnifying glass on? It's all going to be happening here. But, Scott, why don't we just welcome a few people that have joined us this evening?
Well, we've got plenty of champions in the live chat tonight, and I'm sure that number's going to grow as well. We've got the concierge here. Big up the legends, up the Chelsea, but not Pessy. Love that. Tom's here from the United Pubcast on the eve of 21. There's something in the water at Manchester United, hey? Justin's here. We got Marty, Aussie Spur TV, and I know on his channel, his Mariners channel, he just dropped a great video with Kwasnick. I caught a little bit of that too. Shano's in the house. Alex, long time no see, my man.
He's back.
It's good to have him here. But you know what? Before we get into this show, the logo's changed, the layout's changed. We're welcoming all kinds of guests on the show this season, but we've also got a new intro video that we're about to drop. It's good to be back. It's fresh and big. Thank you to Borce, obviously, who put that together for us. You're an absolute champion. Let's do this. New look, new season. The crew's here. Let's get straight into it. Now, the other night when we had a chat, there was one thing, literally one thing that we all agreed on, and that's rare for anyone who watches this show often. The one thing we could agree on was that 2 teams were really going to stand out and be competing for that title this season. Manchester City and Liverpool. The front runners, we already know, we agree. But let's be, again, succinct, boys. Which one of these teams is going to lift the title? Robbie?
Liverpool.
Nah. No.
It tastes like salt coming out of my mouth saying that. No, look, man, if you would ask me this a few weeks ago, I actually had City steam training everyone and just leaving everyone for dead. But I don't know, maybe it's just a bit of a knee jerk for some of the friendly games and stuff. I've been looking a bit more into fantasy and hearing people's thoughts on, new signings, etc., etc. But yeah, I don't know. A few, they've offloaded a few players. City, the World Cup's going to come into it. I think it's weird that they've strengthened a few teams, as in, offloading Sterling to Chelsea. Obviously, you guys got Zinchenko and Jesus, and then obviously we know the incomings that came into Liverpool. I don't know. I just think with I don't know. I just have a bad feeling this season. Liverpool's going to be the one that's going to edge it again. I think it's going to be very, very close. But I have a feeling with City notoriously that start slow. I think Liverpool's really going to straight into first, second gear, get the points, and then it's going to be a chase for the rest of the season.
All right. And I've just dropped in the live chat a poll question for you to let us know your thoughts. Quite simple. Who wins the title? Liverpool, City, someone else? Let us know in the live chat and on the poll. Borce, are you going to follow Robbie and jump on the Liverpool bandwagon?
Hell no. I mean, you said
I'm
the other
sure.
night,
is coming.
I'm shocked.
you said the other night we all agreed to one of these two teams. I can't remember me saying that it was going to be Liverpool or City. I don't remember saying that. I clearly remember saying, I'll give you my prediction over here on It's a Football Thing. So, and you guys must have seen the bus outside my house, the open bus that's been sitting there collecting a little bit of cobwebs. And I think it's about time it gets used. And I think possibly it could be one of them seasons where it might take adjusting for Liverpool with their new man up front. Maybe same with Haaland as well. And then Chelsea, at the moment, as it stands, haven't really got their house in order. I think the Dutch master.
Hey, we're getting there, mate. We're getting there now. Big 48 hours.
Like I said, as it stands, it's not looking too good. But the Dutch master, Erik ten Hag, I mean, he's a champion over there in Holland. He's going to carry that winning formula over into Manchester. And boys, 21 is coming.
Oh, what is happening here, Scott? What is happening here, mate? We're getting too excited. Just because they're not playing terrible, this is a lock moment. A lock, stock, and two smoking barrels. What is going on? From my point of view, I said the other night, Liverpool, in my mind, have a bit of a psychological edge based on a better preseason. Obviously, Community Shield. How much value do you place on that? Very little, probably. But it's always nice to get one up over your direct rival and also rubbing in a little bit of the new signing not kicking off. I just think for Liverpool, like you said, Borch, about the new attackers settling in, I think that's more of a thing about how much would I feel the loss of Mane because he was such a strong contributor for such a long period of time. Whereas City, Sterling's a massive loss. Doesn't matter where he went. It's a massive loss for City. And the same thing with obviously Zinchenko. But I do think getting someone like a Calvin Phillips, coming in, it's a massive upgrade too. So I still now at this flip of a coin, I'd go City ahead of Liverpool.
Yeah, look, I've flipped after the other night. I was Liverpool, but I don't know. It's just Pep. There's something about Pep. Not in the Champions League, but in the Premier League, I think it's going to be City. But it's going to be tight. I don't think there's going to be a huge gap. I see it being a single-digit gap between those two at most. Couple of comments in the chat. We got Man Cave United here. 21 is coming. Clip it. Okay, all right. They're confident. Daniel's in the house. Welcome, Daniel. We got Julius in here asking what we think of Chelsea's window so far. Julius, we will cover Chelsea very, very soon. All right, boys, we've talked about them.
But Scott, one second. Scott, before we go on, didn't you see the first 3 episodes of All or Nothing? You're not telling me you didn't see the Arteta effect playing You Never Walk Alone. Surely they're going to be in the conversation.
If we wouldn't cop a copyright strike, we're not monetized anyway. It doesn't matter. But if we wouldn't cop a copyright
we're heavies now, don't worry.
I wanted to have that playing in the background of the stream when we all enter. But you know what? I'll put it on the record while we're there because we are going to talk about the best of the rest, champions and Europa League teams. Who's going to finish 3, 4, 5, 6? but we may as well start with Arsenal. All or nothing, the clips I've seen, I'll tell you what, I actually think if I was an opposition fan, I'd be more excited to watch it than an Arsenal fan is. I work in education, yeah? So part of what I have to do is get messages across to people every day, albeit they're kids. But some of the methods he's used in there, I wouldn't use with kids because the kids will cringe. They wouldn't take a word of it seriously. That playing You'll Never Walk Alone, I mean, they sing it twice in the match. Why are you training to it for 3-4 hours? There was another one where he drew a heart and a brain and he said, we got to play with this, but then when it's a hard decision, we've got to use this. I think it's going to be banter, but you know what? Of course I'm going to watch it. It's my club. And there's cameras where we haven't had access before. So I want to see it, but I think opposition fans are absolutely going to love it.
It'll be interesting if there's an actual study done on that to play some sort of atmosphere from your rival team, especially one of the, the Euro, especially for us, we're going to be in Europa League. Imagine getting all them hooligans and all that noise and the drums in the training session to try to replicate that atmosphere. So I reckon it's a pretty good study. I know the boys were laughing about it in the group chat. I'm like, I would love to see a study done where a team plays makes the training ground some sort of atmosphere where it replicates one of their rivals' home ground and see if they could get the result. Even though you guys got touched up 4-0 that weekend and that one, but
well, it's all or nothing. But let's go with Arsenal. I wonder if this season they are going to get it all or if it's going to be nothing. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm really happy with our preseason. I'm really happy with our recruitment so far. There's still more that we need, particularly in that centre mid area. We can't rely on Thomas Partey to play the full season, and we can't rely on Granit Xhaka to not go and get himself red carded. We need more quality there. Tielemans to me is perfect, and I'd even like one more. Because I think Sambi Lokonga is still too raw. Arteta has had time. Arteta has had money. Arteta has been able to implement his methods, to bring in his staff, to have the final say on recruitment. Now it is all or nothing for me because there are no more excuses. There's no more excuses to this team. Champions League or bust. I've said it a million times, but I don't care how we get there. Win the Europa League and finish 5th, I'm happy because we're in the Champions League next year. Finish 4th, don't win the Europa League, I'm happy because we're in the Champions League. And to me, I'm not seeing the Champions League as a prize. I'm seeing it as the next step. And we need to take that next step to bring that reputation back, attract higher quality players, so then we can be challenging for titles again, hopefully in the near future. That's where I'm at with Arsenal. And I do think we are going to finish in that top 4. I think there's a lot of teams that I'd be more
third or
worried
fourth.
about.
Give us a number.
4th. I think we'll be comfortably 4th, though. I don't think we'll be sweating. What about you, Robbie?
With Arsenal?
Yeah.
Look, for me, I think it's going to be touch and go between 4th and 5th. Very close. Again, I think this season with Europe, I think is going to be another little added challenge for you guys. Obviously, you guys, I think last year was the best opportunity to get 4th with the no European extra games, and obviously you just buckled that towards the end. So, again, I think you have added quality in your starting 11. I still don't know how great your bench is, like a bit like us, but again, I think it's going to be very, very close. 3rd is a no. I've heard some people say it's a 3rd. For me, it's 4th, 5th, very, very close. I think it's actually going to be in 3 different brackets this year. I think it's going to be the 2 front runners. I think it's going to be 3rd and 4th, and then it's just going to be 5th and 6th, and it's just going to be their own little kind of races kind of thing. So yeah, for me, I'm gonna put you down as 5th, but a really strong season still. But I still think you guys haven't got enough. Similar reason for us. I just think the teams that finished above us last season have also added quality and depth to them, and I think that they can still pull away from us just that little bit more.
All right, we're going to leave Borce to last because I can predict what he's going to say. I know it's coming, and it's not 21. But you go, RJ. You go, mate.
So good, so good. Look, just a couple sentiments. Yes, you're right, Scott. They've had time, they've had money, they've got a bit of an identity now. Good pre-season, but you know me, being a balanced sort of kind of guy, I do have my reservations about judging things on pre-season. they did bottle last season. They had a good, strong middle campaign, totally fell off the ball right at the end and stuffed themselves up. I suppose my question would be, if they had a really dismal league campaign but won Europa, does that success? For example, if they finish 7th or 8th but won Europa, is that good enough? Because obviously from a long-term point of view, on a league perspective, they were woeful. But if they win the Europa and qualify for Champions League, that's a good thing. So just your thoughts. How would you react to that?
I think it gets to a point sometimes, and we've seen this in the past with teams that have been getting to the latter stages of the Europa, but also in the hunt for 4th, where you've almost got to go with one or the other, and the manager has to put their focus on one. If we're finishing 7th, either Arteta needed to be sacked well before, because we shouldn't be near 7th, or it means at crunch time, he's made the decision to go for the Europa, and that's cost us in the league. Now, if we finish 7th because he's made that call late on, so be it, man. I think this is going to be a tight season. It's Champions League or bust, and I'll be a hypocrite if I went and put a whole bunch of caveats. That is my minimum expectation. Arsenal need to be back in the Champions League. There's no excuse. No excuse. Yeah. But Borce, you tell me what you think, mate.
You know what? To be honest, I think this season there might be a lot of surprises. We could be back in 2004, Scott, where it's Arsenal, Man United up there for all glory. But with Arsenal, the worry for me is how they're going to go when the Europa League, Champions League, when the Europa League comes around. You know, and that's where when the games at the end of the season where you guys have to double up, you have to play, 3 games in 10 days or 2 games in a week. That's where I thought you guys crumbled. Imagine now having to go to Romania and Azerbaijan or places like that where you have to travel and then come back in. Is your squad depth going to be enough at the moment as it stands? Probably not. And not just the depth, is the quality going to be enough to be fighting on all fronts? And look, I know by the end of the season, you're going to know which basket you want to throw all your eggs in, because you'll know if you're coming 7th, then yeah, go for the what do you call it? Go for the Europa League, because to be honest, we did it with Jose. We had all the players, Pogba, Ibrahimovic, all the Mkhitaryan, they all came in, and unfortunately, we just couldn't get. We had so many draws that we couldn't get them games over the line for a win. We had to go for the Europa League, and to me, like you said, it's a stepping stone for the following season. Because if you get Champions League, you can attract the high quality players. You know what I mean? Even though there's teams, even that we've done it in the past where we haven't made Champions League, we still got some the players in. But I think that's where every player wants to play now, in the Champions League. Everything, are they in the Champions League? I'm not going to go there because they don't got Champions League. So I think that's the main thing. I'm with you. It's Champions League for him or bust. You know what I mean? If he finishes 10th and wins Europa League, I don't see an issue with that. I mean,
but like you know what? I'd have to offer a counterpoint to that, because I agree the prize is Champions League as part of the long-term journey. But if they had a rubbish Premier League season but won Europa, great, backdoor entry. But if I'm a good player wanting to join, I think your league form is more of an indicator of how successful or strong your team is. Like, you could reasonably fluke your way more easily to win a Europa than to actually finish 4th in the most difficult league. So I don't know. If I'm a really good player, would you want to join a team that's had a really bad campaign? I don't know. It's just something to think about.
Yeah, I know, but I think winning a European trophy, I mean,
I'll take your
it's
point.
a European trophy. Arsenal have never won one anyway, so it's like that's no, it's not even banter. It's just like that. It's good. They're in that or they could even end up in conference. Even that is probably a shout, but I think he needs to get a trophy this season. If he does make Champions League by the top 4, I think he still needs a domestic trophy as well, a Carabao Cup or a FA Cup to back that
Arsenal
up.
spent the most so far this transfer window. Yes, Scott?
They spent almost $500 million.
No, but even just this window alone, I think they're the most spenders at the moment.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's around about the 150, 160.
The Premier League, otherwise it's Barcelona.
Well, boys, let's cross London. Let's talk about Spurs in just a moment. There's two quick questions that I'm going to answer like quick fires. Do you have faith that Arteta can win a league in the next few years, especially if Pep and Klopp are here? Don't you think you need to just get a world-class manager instead of hoping? Look, if there's improvement and if we are building up, I don't think you can sack him while we're improving and while we're doing things like winning. If we do, that's saying if we do. So I don't know if there's a manager that comes in and guarantees you a better shot against Pep and Klopp. They're both elite. They're both absolutely elite. So, I mean, you sack Arteta, who do you bring in? It's one or the other. And with Tom, my concern with Arsenal is still the mindset of players. Who's the proper leader? Yeah, look, a good point. Odegaard, for me, I've said this on stream, I still think he's too young and inexperienced to be our captain. Captaining Norway and captaining Arsenal in the Premier League are two very different things.
Yeah, and also with that, with the manager, if Arteta does go, then like you're saying, who's available? I'm saying what Simeone, completely different system. So now you're starting again. Like even for example, Liverpool, Man City, United, whoever the next manager is going to be at them clubs has to have the same philosophies or similar philosophies and system to what the manager is at the club at the moment. So with Arsenal, you're not going to go get Simeone. We can plays completely different to Arteta. So now we're starting again, new philosophy. You're gone 10 steps back. You know what I mean? You have to find a manager that plays the same sort of system. So he comes in, brings in one or two players. They're already involved in the system, and off you go. And you can get that new manager bounce, and maybe like Chelsea usually do, because there's not a lot of times where you look at even back in the day, Ranieri, then Mourinho, very similar. Then thing came in. Conte as well. I think Conte after Mourinho when he got sacked the second time.
No. Oh, the second time, yes. The second time.
They got very similar managers. Maybe Benitez was the only one a little bit different to the rest.
Obviously, very attacking for us.
And that's where you say it they fall short a little bit. So you need to bring in a manager very similar to what you already have. Otherwise, there's no point of sacking the guy. And I said the same thing with Oli, and bringing Conte in after Oli there was not going to be a point, because different philosophies starting again.
Fair shout. Well, look, boys, I am going to quickly give you my thoughts on Spurs and let you duke it out on that. I'm nervous about Spurs this season. I actually think, whilst we say that Liverpool and City are the clear top two, I think that the way Spurs ended the season, the world-class manager they have, the acquisitions they've made to their squad, and the fact that they have two world-class players in that team. Not many clubs have two world-class players. So I really think that Spurs are going to give City and Liverpool a push. They'll probably drop off a little bit at the end, but they're my hot tip for third. And I think that's pretty clear. For me, they're definitely top four. But unfortunately, I do think they'll finish third because they've done some of the right things. I'm going to throw to you, RJ. Do you think what I've said is fair, out of order? Where do you see it?
Generally, you're out of order. But look, in all seriousness, it's hard not to feel nervous about what Conte and Spurs are doing, because they're spending money, which is a bit unusual, like proper money, and getting players that suit the criteria and the DNA of what Conte builds his sides on. And we know Conte is a big bang, short-termism type of manager, but he generally backs that up with results on a league front, not on a Europe front. It's hard to sort of think that this is going to be an outlier for him. I suppose, if I'm being critical, is that current group of players he's working with hasn't really tasted what success is over a long period. So when the rubber hits the road and they need to grind for that top 3, top 4 spot, will they have enough in the end? I know they finished 4th last season, good for them, but now they've got higher expectations, and we know how they tend to respond when expectations meet them. So definitely are a favourite for top 4, arguably third, but Arsenal invested heavily. United, new manager, looks a lot sharper. The players look reinvigorated. They're going to be better. West Ham is going to be strong. Chelsea, for all of their questionable decision-making, they've brought in a couple of quality players. And if you're following reports, and I've been following them actively over the last couple of days as well, we are likely to strengthen, and that all of a sudden puts us back in the driving seat for a top 3 spot, in my opinion. So what does that mean for Tottenham? I think there's no lock for 4th spot, but they have improved from last season. I think they will finish top 4, but I just think it's not as black and white as some people are making it out.
Robbie?
Yeah, look, I agree with both of you. I think that they'll have a really good season. I think after finishing strong last season, a full preseason with Conte now. That obviously I think had a bit of an advantage having that 6 months with Spurs halfway through last season, getting to know the players, brought in players, and now he's obviously added more. And they haven't added a lot of quality. They're one of the teams I don't think that need a lot of quality to come in. I think they needed that extra bit of quantity to come in. They needed that depth. Obviously, they're going to have the Champions League run this year. Again, I think this year is the year for Spurs, and that's not to win. I just think to have a cracky year and have a shot at a cup. Conte, they haven't got that winning mentality, Spurs, but Conte definitely does. We've seen this numerous occasions. Back when he started at Juve 2013, it was like 10 years before. Then they finally went on the run, won 3 Scudettos in a row. He got the Italian team that was a nothing team to a quarterfinal. He got that Inter team after 10 years of not winning the Scudetto to win the Scudetto. He got Chelsea again. He's won the Premier League. He's just, I don't know. He has, once he gets his players he wants, very similar again to that year when he went with Chelsea. He bring in your Alonsos and your Victor Moses, and he turned them into the best players of the season. I really think that's what we're going to see from Perisic, the main guy this year. Again, 2 quality players up front. Kulusevski, I think, was one of the buys of the season last year. And again, I just think that they have a good chance. But as Borce said before, the World Cup's on, and this could throw a bit of a spanner in the works this year. I don't think they'll push the front 2, but I really do think they could be, again, top 4 comfortable. Between, again, like I said on Monday night, the window's not over and Chelsea's going to strengthen. So between that 3rd and 4th, I think there'll be the 2 clash. I'm going to lock them in for 3rd, but.
Borce, this is an interesting point in the live chat. Spurs are the only team that didn't lose to the top 2 last season, and Alex saying he thinks they'll push them. There's no
but they lost to 5th and 6th.
I was going to say they lost to 5th and 6th. We done the double over them last year.
Okay, so all good.
Talk to us.
Look, I do think, I don't think they had the best window, to be honest. They brought in players, but they're bragging on like Basuma something. If you're outside of the Premier League, all the other clubs, they don't really know about Basuma. It's only the Premier League that know Basuma. But he's a decent buy, but he's not as good as they say he is. Richarlison, is he gonna get the game time? And if he doesn't get the game time, is he gonna cause a stink in the dressing room that he's not getting any time on the field? Their front 3, of course, Son, Kulusevski, Kane. They bang on to be up there for Golden Boot, especially Kane and Son. Then they got Perisic. Well, from hearing Conte speak the last couple of weeks, he's not really ready. His match fitness is not really there. And when he does play in that wing back position, where did he play there at Inter? I don't really think so. Was that what he was playing at Inter?
Yeah.
Then even
very
that
attacking based. Yeah.
Yeah. So even that, then that leaves, and in the Premier League, we've seen it with Trent. We've seen that you leave holes in the back. What happens? You get exposed. So I can see Spurs, of course, even for 3rd, even 2nd. Do you know what I mean? You can see that, but then you look at the other team, and I think it's just so hard to pick, especially this season. It's and with Spurs especially, it's how Conte reacts to every situation. If he stays positive and keeps pushing to win these games, but if he's going to complain and then he's going to do like against Burnley, nah, we didn't get the result, so the board should have a meeting with me. That it sends the wrong message. So what I think, if Conte stays positive, regardless if he gets the players that he wants or not, this is what he's got. He's got to work with it, and yeah, if he stays positive throughout the whole campaign, they will do good things. And I think it's Conte's Achilles heel that's going to dictate where Spurs finish. To be honest, it's not their players.
What
will happen? I was going to say what will happen is they will lose to Chelsea in round 2, and Conte will come out and say, "I'm walking. Yeah, that's it. I'm done, mate. It's all over."
The players are not good enough. They're not. I didn't get the right players in. It's a hard one, man. Like every time I think about who's finishing where, it just keeps on changing. I can see Spurs in the top 4, but I can also see him coming 5th if the manager decides to sack it off and walk. Who comes in? But as it stands, I'll say 5th.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
All right. So I've gone 3rd. Robbie, you've gone 3rd.
Yep, third.
Borce is 5th. RJ, what were you? 4th. Well, let's jump to your team, mate. We're in London at the moment. We may as well not travel too far. Is it going to be a case of the Blues for the Blues?
I guess why they call it the Blues, hey? But no, in all seriousness, as it stands, hasn't been great. We know that. New ownership, we all went through this the other day. We started on a back foot. That said, Todd Bowley, behind the scenes, they have been doing a lot of work. We know that categorically. They've been speaking to a number of agents, number of players. We've been linked to a lot. We've lost a lot to bankrupt Barcelona, but they've done a great job. And now it looks like we are going to make a wave in the last few weeks. And I was critical about the transfers during this last month because I think it's disruptive for the season. But based on our current circumstances, it can be a real blessing in disguise. Wesley Fofana, Cucurella's very close now. Aubameyang now is coming out of left wing. So look, man, I don't know, Frankie de Jong, that might be one we also hit up. The point is there is still a lot of money to be spent from the new ownership, and they want to make a splash. I wouldn't be surprised if during this stream or just after, keep refreshing your news feeds, if we don't come out with something definitive. But because of that, it gives me renewed optimism that we're not just going to slip away and turn into a transition club that banks on the chaos and trophies under the Abramovich era. I do think we'll do enough to come in the top 4. And I do think on the back of that positive last few weeks of this transfer window, we're going to have a pretty positive season and actually finish in the top 3. So that's where I'm going with that.
Okay. All right. Well, mate, you've talked about a lot of players who could be coming in, but Fabrizio, Brighton put him in the mud this morning. They put Fab in his place. Coming out and saying that now, is that a tactic for them to get some more money? Who knows? But
Levi Colwill deal. That's what it's all about, apparently. So.
It's interesting, man, because you know what? You've been knocked back by a lot of players. And for anyone that hasn't watched the video we did the other night on the Football Capital, there's a section where RJ and I are talking about this and the steam coming off his head because we were actually together. I've got 3rd-degree burns on my cheek, just hiding under the biddy. I have no fear of Chelsea this year. I'm not going to give the same speech again, but they haven't signed enough. I don't think they have enough goals in the team. I think the defense is very good, but a lot of teams will have a very good defense this season. Tommy Tuchel doesn't look happy. We saw at PSG when he wasn't happy that things got a little bit tricky. I'm predicting pain for Chelsea this season, to be honest. And I mean, look, pain for them is something that we celebrated last year and finishing 5th. So I'm going to go with Chelsea to finish in 5th place. I'm going 5th for Chelsea.
We got promoted from 6th the other day. That's good.
They said 6th the other day. They got promoted.
Did I? No, I feel a bit
He's
better
changing his tune, mate. Just like Arsenal, their tune, mate. They're changing.
Did I say 6th the other day?
Yeah, you went
did.
6th.
Yeah, you gave us 5th. I swear, if you say
it
we're
is.
coming 6th now, I'm not going to be happy.
Nah, 6th it is. Put Chelsea back to 6th. There you go. Borce, talk to me, man. Do you fear Chelsea, or is this Chelsea team the least threatening you've seen in a long time?
Do you know what? I never really go into a game fearing Chelsea, but they're a team that can just gets the job done somehow. You know what I mean? I know all the players, backroom staff that they let go, right? But then I seen a comment, I think yesterday or the day before, where everyone was saying that Czech is gone, Marina is gone, all these people are gone. But to be honest, in that time that they were there, everyone was praising him, or it looked like there was a lot of praise for them because of the signings. But they haven't won a league in is it 4 or 5 years now, RJ. And then the transfer that they did make, always late, always deadline day. It wasn't as early. It's not as bright as it looks to be for Chelsea. So maybe that they're gone now. Yeah, they might be late with their business. They haven't really been early the last couple of years. I know Sterling's come in early now, and obviously Koulibaly. But I know, like you said, De Jong. If De Jong wants to play Champions League and he has to leave Barca, that Chelsea are there waiting. If if he doesn't want to go to United. And then you got some other players. Aubameyang's in the mix. I heard today.
Not going to happen.
They can grab. You never know, man. Money talks, and Aubameyang with money, absolutely. Chelsea can grab a few players that could get them over the line and get them into that top 4. I do see them fourth at the moment, even as they stand, because somehow I don't know how they do it, but they find a way, and then all of a sudden, even with under Lampard, like I said on Monday, with Lampard, we rid him off. No transfer ban, playing with the kids, no chance. Chelsea, they come fourth somehow. So I think
brought in 2 players under that transfer ban, though. No,
But
the
you
only
know,
club that's
And
been
lost, and
transferred
he
ban-
lost their best player, lost
and
Hazard.
brought-
Who was that?
And brought him in. Hazard's washed, mate. Finish. Robbie, are you with me, or are you team Scott, or are you team RJ on this?
I'm a bit in between, mate. Look, I put third.
No
I
better
put
place to be.
So, but I've got them in. I've got top 4, and like I said the other night, I had 4th the other night, and I said towards the back end, I think we should review it in a month after the transfer window happens, because I do expect them to spend big, as I said. You look at their ins and outs. You can nearly say they've upgraded. They're bringing, Sterling is an upgrade. If Christensen went out and they bring in Koulibaly. That's an upgrade for me. So I don't know why
That's
everyone
really
or
good
your
too,
On
though. We've
Rudiger?
lost- we're
I don't
lost
think there's
to-
much.
Oh,
between
Rudiger went in.
and
Sorry,
Koulibaly.
on Christensen, definitely on Christensen. But still, I think Thiago Silva's still got at least another year of him. He's still, as RJ says, the Rolls Royce there.
Mhm.
They've got a good defense. Chua, I think, is the big question mark at the moment. That's why I think they're trying to get Cucurella, because from what I've heard, he's not ready. Maybe this injury he hasn't fully recovered. And like I said, him and Reece James last year were pivotal to that formation and that attack. And like as soon as one or both of them went down is when they started to slump. So I think that's why they really want Cucurella. I do think Chelsea will get top 4 at the moment. I'm going to go 4th, but as I said before, I think it's going to be 1st and 2nd close, 2nd, 3rd and 4th very close, and 5th and 6th. So it's going to be a toss of the coin between Spurs and Chelsea.
This is a good
RJ.
question. Yeah, the good question here. So Cucurella is obviously known for his attacking attributes, but he's played quite a fair bit in LCB. So Chilwell left wing back, him left centre back. It's not a foregone conclusion. There are games in which Thiago Silva, Rolls Royce that he is, 38, unreasonable to expect him to play 50 straight games. So that means Koulibaly as the natural central centre back, and someone like a Cucurella being an LCB. I suppose the way I look at it is if there's an opportunity to get someone of his quality and playing in a progressive system that Brighton play, it's a no-brainer to splash the cash on him. I am a little bit nervous that means we lose someone like Levi Colwill, because I get Tamori vibes. I get Mark Guehi vibes. How many situations will we see where we've let him go of someone prematurely and come back to bite us? That's how it works. You can't win them all. But if we can bring him in, and more importantly, if we can splash the cash on a Fofana, he's a top player. You get rid of a Loftus-Cheek perhaps, or you get rid of a Hudson-Odoi in exchange. If that's the way it's got to be, it's the way it's got to be. But if we could get those players in, I feel significantly more comfortable that we'll get in top 4, no problems at all.
So are you calling 4th or 3rd?
Third.
Where's the goals coming from, Marge? Like, and that's the only thing with Chelsea. I think they have a pretty complete, at least 11 or 10, to be honest. I just don't see where their goals are coming consistently. Like you said the other night, Havertz, what is he? He's on, he's off. He's a 9.5. He's a 9. He's a 10.
Know.
I just don't know where.
Raheem the Dream. Raheem the Dream is going to help us.
I think he's going to be more of an assister. I don't think he's going to be that goal scorer. I think he's going to be someone who's going
Who's
to
he assisting?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know where the goals are coming.
Conor Gallagher.
Who was your top? Wasn't it Mason Mount last year? 10 goals or something? 11 goals?
Yeah, double digits in goals and assists. Yeah.
That's it. So I think you need a 20 goal, a striker that's going to score you 20 goals, or at least
might get
the midfield that's
Ronaldo.
going to.
He'd be a great signing.
You'd love him. I know you would.
Boys, speaking of Ronaldo, because we know his name's going to come up, this is the last club we're going to talk about in depth before we move on to some other things. But Manchester United, 21 supposedly coming. There's been a lot of talk in the chat about 21. I want you, Borce, to start us off talking quickly about Ronaldo, make a bold prediction. What's happening with him? And tell us where United finish and why.
Look, Ronaldo, who knows? He wants to leave. No one wants him. So he might have to stay put. Who knows? I have no idea. To be honest, personally for me, whether he stays or goes, I'm not really too bothered. Let's be honest, the club really doesn't have a future with a 38-year-old playing up front going forward. But then he gets you the goals if he's keen to play in the system that the manager wants. A lot of people are making a big deal about some of the clips that came out from the game the other day where they're having the drinks and he's not happy, or he looks like he's not happy. But look, I'm not too bothered. If there's someone out there that's going to remember, he can't leave on a free unless they terminate his contract or he pays the contract off. So someone has to come in with an offer. And if United are happy to sell him, then they'll sell him. But some of the shots that they had around the ground that day, a lot of the fans still have that number 7 jersey, Ronaldo. This is kit. Everyone's wearing it. So the marketing on that player is still there. And we all know the Glazers and how they work. So look, to be honest, I'm not too bothered. Where we finish this season, yeah, look, 21 might be coming. When it comes, we might be waiting another 11 years. You know what I mean? To me, my personal opinion, but I want good football. I want to see some good football. I want to see the players buy into what the managers bring in, get into like the system. I don't want it to be like when Ralph came in, he implemented his system and no one was bothered because he was only going to be here for 6 months. I want him to get behind this manager. They can't be throwing him under the bus. Trust the process. We know we've already seen the clips. We've seen I was in Melbourne against that Palace game. I've seen it with my own eyes, just watching him on the touchline. Everyone's complaining, oh, Ollie's sitting on the bench on his iPad and doing this and that. Well, now this guy's on the touchline. He's barking out his orders. If he's not happy with someone, you can hear it. F-bombs are being dropped. What are you doing? Drop back. This is not the plan. No worries. You come off. Next game, we don't see you. And that's the kind of mentality the manager needs to have. I want to see good football. I want to see that. And it's not even back in the day, Man United. I want to see a new Man United, a new system, new philosophy, a fresh team. And I think we can break into the top 4. To be honest, but to be honest, if we could improve and come 5th. But as long as the football's there, the foundations are laid for the following season. But to be honest, I think we can creep into the top 4. I think we can get, at the moment, we can get maybe third. And that all depends on how Chelsea go in their transfer. If they get the players that they want, which are some quality players, then I see Chelsea getting the 3rd and United the 4th. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be an interesting season.
All right, Robbie.
I don't know. I just want some of those, smiles.
Tell him he's dreaming.
I want to go to wherever he is. But look, you know what? You just don't know. But I've already said it before a few times. I mirror a lot of what Borce said, to be honest. The philosophy, I want us to lay a foundation. I want us to play a system that we haven't seen, like I said, nearly post-Fergie. Everyone's been boring. We've had counter-attacking football. We've had park the bus football. We've had Louis Van Gaal go to sleep football. We had we've never had a system that we're going to say, okay, this is what we're going to play week in, week out. I just want, like I said, everyone to buy in. And like I said, it's been positive signs in the preseason. We want to see that continue. I think our biggest Achilles heel this year is our depth. I do not think we have depth at all. I'm already panicking pre this stream that we're not seeing Sancho training photos because he was sick last weekend. Who's going to play on the right wing on Saturday or Sunday? Elanga. The drop off in quality is massive, and I just don't think to go for a Europa season and a normal 38 game season with how tough everything is at the moment with our window. I don't think we've covered him. I don't think we've backed him enough. Like I said, one player goes down and the quality drops off. So yeah, in my opinion, what's that? Go Borce.
No, I just don't get go guys. I know. Say your place. Say where we're finishing, and I'll continue. Say where you were finishing.
Yeah, I think we're going to finish 6th. And I think we need to put all our eggs in the Europa League basket. I think that's going to be our best chance at Champions League football. And again, for the reason I said before, I don't think we've done enough to leapfrog the teams that were in front of us last year. Your Chelsea's, your even like I said, Arsenal, Spurs. The top 2, There's 2 spots up for grabs for me, and I don't think we have enough at the moment to jump them.
Yeah, we have. I kind of agree. We haven't done enough in terms of bringing players in and maybe letting players go. We haven't done enough in that in that part. But I think it's all going to come down to how quick they adapt to this system. If they can adapt to this system as quick as possible, then a lot of these teams are in trouble. Trust me, a lot of these teams are in trouble. Man City, they're the team that keeps the ball. If you keep the ball away from them, if you keep working your patterns, and City don't score, and even Ollie's beaten Pep how many times when he was here? So beating City is not the issue. It's beating some of the teams that you should be. Brighton, Munich, them teams, that we get pumped to every single week. It's the little teams that we need to get the points. And I'm like, I see even in the video on Monday, in the comments, everyone's disrespecting United. 6th, 7th, Newcastle above United. Well, mate, do you know
disrespect? Is it disrespect? Let's be real, because
but I don't get why people are looking at United and thinking we're the same United as last year. Ollie at the wheel.
Other teams got better.
You brought in a manager
from
other teams got better in maybe bringing some decent players in. But you can't tell me player by player there's no quality at United. Player by player, we compete with. Even with Liverpool head to head, we've probably got equal amount of quality players as them, and they're supposed to have world-class players. They've won 1 title in 5 years, but every player is a world-class player. And they haven't won what?
I reckon we see our first 11 on Saturday, and I think 90% of the team is the same, and I just can't see that much of a miracle
from the same players.
From the same players that lost 4-0 last year to Brighton. Are going to go out and knock them off the park this week. Look, I think we might win the game.
See.
And I think, again, like you said the other day, I think we've actually got a coach that is going to better the players for a change, because that's never happened. Players normally come to United in the last 5 years, and they've always downgraded. Tell me a player in the last 5 years we've bought and they've been coached to improve him. Or we've sold them for a better fee.
Yeah, look, I think you'll see the best football towards the back end of the season, right? Maybe not the start, maybe it's a bit too early, but I think we'll still do enough to maybe get into that top 4. But Europa League for me has to be a way into the Champions League, because, like I said, we could improve and still come 5th or 6th. I have no problem with that. But 100%. There needs to be a Europa League or another trophy minimum for us.
RJ, put a bow on this conversation, my man.
I love the optimism.
100%.
To United fans, Rob's pretty. I see Rob as more of the realist to reflect what's going on. I get what you're saying, Borce. I know what you mean. It's not like the teams in front of you have bought all of these world-class players and totally blown everybody else away. But the reality is, the way I see it, they have strengthened. You've got a better manager. It's just how much weight do you put on a new manager to work his magic in a short time frame based on the same crop of good players, I'll call them, but not improved based on the players he necessarily wants. So a lot of respect for what Ten Hag's done. I just think it's going to be it's a big ask to get him to take over both Spurs, Conte, and as well as Chelsea. It's not
the same time, RJ. At the same time, RJ, we had the same. Let's just say the same team starts from last season. Last season we were competing. Apparently, I'll put my hand up. Ronaldo, Sancho, Varane come in with the team that we already had finished second the year before. We were competing. Now everyone was saying back then, with a new manager, if there's someone better than Ollie, you guys should be winning the league. Well, now this is the guy. 100% is better than Ollie. Is he better than the rest of the managers? We don't know, and we'll find out. Exactly. But it's that's what I mean. It could go one way or the other, but I think there has to definitely be an improvement.
But you're forgetting Pogba, Cavani, Matic, Mata. Just to name a few.
They weren't here last season.
Even Lingard.
They weren't here last season. They weren't here last season, bro. They weren't here last season.
That's what I mean. We haven't got the quality to come off the bench.
Yeah, but we had the quality last season, and we couldn't put them on the field.
It's civil war. I love it.
Pogba in 3 years, in 3 years, Pogba, the last 3 years, he's only completed, if you put his games together, a season and a half. 50% in the last 3 years.
We're going to have to pray that our youngsters, like your Garnachos, like your...
Let's go, bro. This is why we bring Ten Hag.
I want him to. I actually think that he will give them a chance.
No excuses with this manager situation anymore. You got the right guy in now. Everyone wants a tactician, someone that knows what he's doing, someone that plays the youth. Well, we got him now. Yeah, so we've new players coming in or the same team, make it work, Ten Hag. Make it work. They picked you. You're the guy. You chose to take this sinking ship out of the ocean. Show me what you can do. I'm not here for, give him time. Yeah, of course we're going to give him time. I'll give him 3-4 years. But with these players, if you're not going hard in saying, don't worry about De Jong, we've been chasing him for 2 months, let's go for someone else, then obviously you have the belief in yourself that you can take these players to the next level. And if he believes that, then why not? I'll be deluded and I'll buy into that.
We'll see.
Last point.
Yeah, go on.
Last
go
point.
on.
Again, Ten Hag, new to the Premier League. What happened to Pep in his first year? And Pep is Pep. You know, he's won the Champions League. He's won with all the leagues. He's coming. He scraped fourth that first year with a pretty good City. All I'm saying is we need a lot of things to go our way. Everyone's got to hit the ground running. Eric Ten Hag has got to experience what the Premier League's like because, you know, again, facts are facts. He's come from the best team in Ajax. They don't normally get how a Brentford or a bottom team can beat you. He doesn't get. They play total football over there. They don't get low blocks every 5 seconds. These are the challenges I want to see.
Exactly.
He's going into the system and he's got to work it out. So we need all that to happen. We need Marshall and we need all the team to chip in with a lot more goals. We need to concede a lot less goals. That's what I mean. I think we need a lot of things to go in our way and a lot of things not to go in the way for the teams above us to get that top 4 finish.
To make it. He's got to make it our way. That's
Boys,
it.
RJ finished his popcorn. I've finished my popcorn. It's been a pleasure watching you both.
They're forgetting the X Factor. You're forgetting the X Factor. Harry Maguire. He's going to win it. He's going to win it for United. Forget 21 on the way.
No banter. He's had a good preseason.
On the final day when he bangs in that header.
21 on the way.
The armpits are coming up. Let's go, Hazard.
RJ, where are they finishing, mate?
Oh, mate, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they got relegated. Nah, no jokes. 6th. I don't think they'll improve. Improve football-wise, 6th finish based on everybody else around them.
Yeah, look, we're going to move on because we've talked about our team, some of the bigger teams.
My last episode.
That's it. He's not coming back. No, but in all seriousness, let's do a couple of others. We're going to kind of embed these almost as mini quickfires. We'll give a little bit of context, but who are some players, and I would challenge you to choose players that aren't on your team. Who are some players in the league that you're really you're excited to see or you're keeping an eye on because you think they're going to have a real cracker? I'll get you started to give you a bit of thinking time because I have thought about this. One of mine is Skamaka over at West Ham. Now, this is a guy I've spoken to a few friends, not these two, but who watch a lot of Italian football. But they've told me that this guy is the real deal. Good in the air, good with his feet, very agile, very physical. Sounds like the kind of player that should do really, really well in the Premier League. So I'm curious to see how he adapts at West Ham because we know they play normally Antonio up front. But now they've got this proper striker. I'm curious to see what he can do. So I'll be keeping one eye on West Ham and obviously looking at Fulham. For me, there's been this guy. There's been this guy who plays up front called Mitrovic. Sure, you've heard of him.
In the championship.
He bangs them in the championship. Every time he comes up, and in FPL people get stung because they're like, this guy's going to be the real deal up here. He'll bring it up. And he just doesn't do it. He just doesn't do it for whatever reason. I'm going to go on record saying this is going to be Mitrovic's year. This year, he's going to hit double-digit goals in the Premier League. I wouldn't be shocked to see him get, 13, 14. But they're two players, pardon me, that I'm really keeping my eye on as guys to watch. Robbie, is there anyone out there, and if you want to do United, but is there anyone out there that you're really keen to watch this season?
Look, I'll give a couple quickly on United. I won't go too long. My boy Sancho, I think he's up for – this is his season. I really expect him to shine. He had a bit of a blunder at the start of last season. He was sick. He didn't have a preseason. He didn't get played. We're all seeing what a debacle we were all season. His preseason, he's been one of the ones that has shined the most. I'm really expecting him to come in and goals, assists, contribute all over the field. And like I said, no matter, I think with the Ten Hag way, I think he's really going to be one of the ones that will prove. And the youngsters, Garnacho is the one. He's our new our young boy coming through, and I really think he's going to get a chance. Not a lot, but I do think we'll see sights. He might get an opportunity if there's an injury or someone is unavailable to play. And this kid at 19 years old, I think he is. I really do think he has a spark, and I think he could be something special one day. But yeah, look, I'm going to be a little bit boring. Again, you've already said Skamaka. I was going to say him. You've already covered him, but I'm going to keep another eye on Kulusevski again. I know he came in halfway through the season last year. I gave him big raps, and he stood up to him. I think he's going to have another big year. A lot of people said, these players from Serie A. He's one of the rare ones that came in and actually performed. And that's the thing with Scamacca. This guy's going to perform, or he's going to be back on loan in Italy by January. That's how it's going to be. It's going to be one or the other.
All right. RJ.
Yeah, a couple of, I suppose, some centre backs. So obviously Koulibaly for Chelsea. Naturally very excited to have him on board. But also Botman from Newcastle and Tarkowski for Everton. I just think because all in different parts of their maturity journey, I'm going to call it. Obviously, we're at the top end of town. Newcastle looking to try to break the European duck maybe this season if they get a bit lucky. But obviously, Tarkowski with what Lampard, he's been tracking him for a long time, even when he was at us. Obviously, Everton's got a lot of troubles. They're gonna be really up against it to stay in this league. They've got someone in such a crucial position. A lot will be made whether or not this guy is a success or failure in terms of whether or not Everton do survive that drop. So, yeah, keeping a close eye on those boys.
Butch?
Look, there's a player at Villa now, Kamara. I think it was at
Kamara.
RB Leipzig, or was he at Monaco?
RB Leipzig. French league? No, I think it was I think he came from the French league. I think he was at Marseille. I think.
Marseille. Well, I know we were linked to him heavily when Ralph was here, and we didn't get him. So I'm keen to see how he goes in the Premier League. Another player, maybe not keen to watch his team play, but Fabio Carvalho at Liverpool now. I think they need something in the midfield. And some of the games I've seen with Liverpool in the preseason, he looked lively. So hopefully for everyone, for my sake, he doesn't kill it, but just his individual performances, it'll be good to see how he goes. And obviously the obvious one for me, Sancho, as well. We all know what happened last season. I've got an issue with him at the moment. He's always sick, and it's always rumors that it's COVID. So I don't know. Yeah, tell him to less of the party life, stay inside because we need you on the match day. I don't know what this COVID. Where's he going out? Where's he partying? We need him this season. So I really hope he does well and kicks off his United career. And then we can see what Scotty has to say about Sancho this season. Hopefully he has to bite his tongue, but at the moment,
I chucked him on the thumbnail, so that's as much praise as
I was shocked, and he left out the Spurs players.
I couldn't fit one. I wanted to chuck one on, but
he forgot how to spell Spurs. Tottenham wasn't in his vocabulary there.
All right, boys, we are going to move on because we're already at 1 hour in this preview, and we've still got to do predictions.
Relegation.
Yeah, we've still got plenty to do.
Let's
quickly talk Golden Boot, and then let's go to relegation. Who's going down?
I'll quickfire this. I'm going Salah. I'm quickfiring this one. Salah Golden Boot.
Who's Salah? Just kidding, obviously.
I think Salah for me, definitely.
Top shout.
Marcus Rashford.
Golden Boot.
Jing him up. I think Harry Kane.
What a stitch up.
I think Harry Kane.
Yeah, fair shot.
All right.
I'll go Haaland for me. Breakout season. We'll see.
I'm going Mo Salah as well. I can't move past him. We've talked about the top of the table, bottom of the table. Again, let's keep this short. Let's keep this quick. Who's going down and why? I might kick us off. I think Everton are going down. They've been god awful. I think they've got a pretty rubbish manager too. He's not ready, not the guy. And their goals, similar to Chelsea at the top, I think Everton are going to have trouble finding goals. I think that Bournemouth will be going down as well. I just don't think they've done enough. I can't remember who I said the other night, who my third was. It certainly won't be Fulham because they've just signed Bern Leno, so I think they're safe.
Was it Forest?
But third, someone said Southampton the other night, and they've kind of stuck in my head ever since that. Yeah. So I'm going to go with them. What about you, Borce?
Yeah, Bournemouth is definitely going to go down. Even Scott Parker said the other day that his team is worse off than they were last season. So if you're worse off in the Champions League, in the Championship, coming into the Premier League, you're going to have a tough time. So I think they're going to go down. I think their kits, they have a nice kit this season. I think I've seen it doesn't look too bad. But I reckon they'll go down. The other ones are tough. Everton's a good shout. I just don't want to see them go down, but
I do.
Brentford, I think Brentford for me could go down, and maybe Brighton, because if they're losing all these players, Cucurella's going to go, and all these other guys as well. There was a few rumors, Lamptey, but then I think they're selling themselves a bit short in terms of the squad. Brighton could go down.
Leicester coming up in the chat. Leeds, Everton.
Leicester's a smoky. That's one. Like I laughed at Tom when he said this the other day, man. But you know they're losing players. Yeah, no one's talking about it. I think Schmeichel's a massive loss for them, man.
1 million. 1 million. On you go.
Wait, Tielemans has got 1 year left on his contract. He could be out the
Madison
door
to Arsenal as well.
Is that still on?
Surely they can't lose all these players with 1 week to go. It's crazy. I don't know.
I thought Tielemans was at the club.
They're going to call them the fire sale foxes, mate. That's what's happening.
RJ?
Yeah, I'm still standing confident for what I said. I said Bournemouth, Fulham, Leeds. I see it that way. I just think Leeds in particular, because I know they've done some good recruitment, but they've also lost Rafinha, major attacking outlet. Calvin Phillips, massive for what they've done in the midfield. So quite keen to see how they do without those two.
Okay, all right. We have done Golden Boot. We have done relegation.
I didn't get to do my relegation.
Sorry?
Sorry. You did it from the other night. We still kept it the same.
I was just going to clip it. Nah, go, man.
Nah, look, I'll quickly. Look, I've gone. Again, Bournemouth, I think everyone agrees they're going down. Nottingham Forest, I want them to stay up, but I don't think they're going to have enough. And I've gone, like I said, from the other night, my smoky was Saints. I just think that they're not going to have enough. I don't know. I think they've been on a downward spiral as well. I had a look at the squad the other day. Nothing impresses me. Their players are getting older. I don't know. Yep. I don't see Ralph lasting long either, to be honest.
All right, Daniel, get your pen out, mate. We are going to do some predictions. Borch, I want you to do these quickfire predictions with us as well, because you going first will help me to figure out who not to tip. So I'm going to make sure I bring your views.
Be surprised, but you might be surprised.
Look, we'll have to see. Before we do that, just want to say a big good morning to my man, JC at Arsenal Analyze, was on his channel the other day. We had a really good chat, so show them some love. But let's begin. Arsenal and Palace are kicking off the season. I'm feeling positive vibes, man. I'm feeling we're good. I'm going to go with Arsenal to beat Palace 3-1. What about you, Robbie?
Yeah, I'm going to go. I agree with you this year. I'm going to go 3-0, but I think they're going to take the pre-season straight into the season.
Love that, RJ.
Yeah, well, without Conor Gallagher not being able to rescue Patrick Vieira's team, I think they're going to struggle somewhat. And Arsenal, yeah, I back up your confidence. I'll go 2-0 to the Gunners.
Okay, Butch?
Yeah, I think it's an Arsenal win for me. I think maybe a 3-1 as well. To be honest, I think Arsenal will win their first 5 games.
Me too. That makes
I think Saliba's going to be really strong at the back.
I think with Palace, they've had 2 teams on preseason. One was the ones that came to Australia, and the other ones that stayed in Europe or in the UK. So they still haven't really maybe did a kind of a preseason or had a couple of games together. So it'll be interesting how that goes for them. But yeah, definitely Arsenal for this one.
Perfect. Fulham, Liverpool. I'm just going to ask a question. Obviously, we'll put our scores out, but does anyone see anything other than a Liverpool win? If so, you go first.
No.
Well, I'm going to go Liverpool. I think they're going to start with a bang, 4-0. Borch?
Yeah. They're going to open them up in the back. Yeah, this is going to be high scoring. Hat-trick definitely for someone.
What's the score going to be?
Maybe 5-0.
Robbie?
Oh, that much already. Geez, yeah, I think a Liverpool win. I don't think it's going to be that convincing. Off the back of Craven Cottage, first game of the season. I'm going to go 2-0. Salah double, probably.
And RJ?
5-0 to the Reds as well.
Right, RJ, let's stick with you. Bournemouth hosting Villa.
Yeah, I expect Villa to take this one. I'll lock in 3-1 to the Villains.
Robbie?
Yeah, I agree. 3-1. I need Leon Bailey on the score sheet for fantasy points.
Butch?
I'll go 1-0 Villa.
I'm going 2-1 to Aston Villa. I'm agreeing with Alex in the chat. Let's go with you, Robbie. This time, Leeds hosting Wolves. I think this one's going to be a pretty lackluster match, to be fair. What's your call?
I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go 1-1 in this one. What about you, Butch?
Yeah, I think this one's going to be a draw as well, man. I'm going to go 1-0.
And RJ?
Yeah, lock me in for a Hattie there. 1-1.
All right, Borch, let's go back to you. Newcastle hosting Nottingham Forest.
Low key, good game this one. I reckon.
Yeah, it is. I think 2-2 draw here. Exciting 2-2 draw.
Okay, all right, Robbie.
Agree, except I do think Newcastle will edge it at home. I think they're going to want to start with that big bang. So I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle.
RJ?
Same for me. 2-1 to the tune.
It's a hat trick for the IFT boys. Spurs hosting Southampton. We might let you kick this one off, RJ.
Yeah, no problem. I think Spurs at home going to want to start off with a bang. I think they'll take this one 3-1. 3-1, I feel.
Okay, I'm going to go with 1-0 to Spurs. I think this might be tight till they find their rhythm. What about you, Robbie?
2-0 Spurs.
And Butch?
1-0 Saints.
Whoa.
I like it.
Hot tip there.
Yeah, Spurs are not ready yet. Spurs are not ready.
I don't think they have to be ready to beat Saints. That's the thing, especially at home.
Ralph Hasenhüttl, mate. Don't worry. He's going to get the job done.
We'll see. RJ, your team and your second team.
Best manager of all time and Super Frank as well. I reckon despite our poor Goodison record, we'll have enough to beat Everton. I think they're a lot more struggling than what we are. So I will go us to break the hoodoo, go for a nervous 2-1 to the Blues.
Okay, let's go with you, Butch.
I go 2-0 Chelsea. Comfortable as well. Maybe even more. Maybe they can get a third at the end.
Robbie?
Yeah, 3-1 Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 2-0 to Chelsea. Leicester, Brentford, Borch, kick us off.
I want to get Brentford. I think Brentford get the result here.
Okay, all right. Robbie?
2-0 as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 Brentford.
I'm with you, Robbie. 1-0 Brentford. RJ?
2-1 to the Bees for me.
All right. Manchester United hosting Brighton Munich. Robbie, do the honours.
Oh, I don't know. I look at first game of the season, and we've got to be positive, mate. I'm going to go for a 2-1 United.
Okay, all right, Butch.
Yeah, I hate this team. 3-1 United. We're going to concede. We always concede.
I'm going to go 2-1 to Manchester United. And what are you doing, RJ?
Well, with an up-and-coming progressive manager taking on Ten Hag, it's going to be a really interesting sort of clash. I don't know, boys. I'm torn. I've liked what I've seen United during pre-season, but is that a smokescreen for what's the reality of the Premier League? Without Cucurella now, because he's at Chelsea, I think United will scrape this, man. I do. I think United will take this one 2-1.
Okay, all right. And the last one for the round. West Ham hosting Manchester City. This is going to be a cracker. I can't wait for this match. And I'm actually going to go with an upset in this one to get myself on the front foot. I'm going with a 1-1 draw in this match. What are you thinking, RJ?
Yeah, I can get where you're coming from. I could kind of see City dominating, but the Hammer's hitting them on the break and be an ugly 1-1 draw. I don't know. I still feel confident enough in City. We'll have enough to scrape this over the line. And I like what Alex is saying in the chat. I like a 3-2. I'm going to go for something a bit bold here. So no pun intended. 3-2 to City.
All right, Borch.
Yeah, I think 2-0 City. 2-0. But
Okay.
3-2, a 3-2 replay of that in the last season. Why not?
All right, Robbie.
1-0 City. I think there's going to be a late goal in this.
Okay, well, that's the first round of predictions. Daniel, I hope you had your pen. Let's see who the winner is this season. Boys, we were going to go into Fantasy Premier League, but our drafts have all changed a fair bit. So what I'm thinking we might do, I might just call out some of the most selected players, and I just want a yes or a no if you've got these guys. Jesus is officially the most selected player in Fantasy Premier League. He's owned by 74% of players. That is, I think, the highest percentage ever.
Massively underpriced. I think they got that one wrong. Massively.
Correct. And that's what it is. Just a yes or no. Have you got Gabby Jesus?
Yes.
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 Not yet. I haven't sorted my team out, but I think he might be coming in.
Okay. All right. Haaland is owned by 46%. Have you got Haaland?
Yep.
No.
Today or tomorrow, is it? That's
Now,
the question.
right now.
Now, yes, I do.
No,
Okay.
no for me.
You went
Harry
Kane.
Kane, this shocks me. 26.7%. Why is that so low for a guy that's consistently up there near the Golden Boot? I think
Because
it's
he
just
can't score in August.
He broke that last year or whatever it was.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, he did. He finally broke it.
anyone packing Harry
Look,
Kane this season.
I've got Kane. I think that's a bonus. He's got the less percentage, a bit of a differential. I just don't see against, especially in that first game against West Ham, I don't see Haaland scoring. But look, I'm more than quick enough. I think by game 2, I'm going to swap him out straight away for Kane for Haaland. Haaland's got Bournemouth at home in round 2. So I've got Kane round 1, and then I'm going to swap him straight away.
Okay, not a bad tactic.
I wouldn't do that.
Not a bad tactic. All right. In terms of midfield, Salah 60%. Are you carrying Mo Salah this season? I'm a yes.
No, he's a definite. You have to have him.
Yeah, I haven't got him.
I am. I do.
I love it.
You haven't got Gabriel Jesus. You haven't got Salah. But what
It's got McTominay, I think.
McFred.
No. I tried to put Salah in the team, and then I needed to buy a striker, and only had 0.4 in the bank. So I have to mix and match somewhere.
All right, fair shout. A couple of others. Trent Alexander-Arnold, 58%. I can't afford him. He's not made the cut for me. Has he made the cut for you?
Yep.
He has.
Yeah, I've got both Liverpool wing backs. I've got Robertson and Trent Alexander.
Well, you're a proud red, so that doesn't make sense. That doesn't be surprising, Rob.
I told you, mate, head not heart when it comes to these things.
Yeah. Robbie's pretty balanced, man. The balanced
He
red.
is.
The balanced red. Goalkeepers. The percentages on these are a little bit crazy. Just maybe tell us who's your starting goalkeeper. For me, it's Mendy. I think he's got a really good defense in front of him, so he should be pretty secure.
I've got Martinez.
I've got Ramsdale.
Brother, don't do it. We love conceding cheap goals, man.
No, it's not. They get a lot of points for saves, bro. He gets a lot of saves.
What's your tactic on the goalkeepers? Do you guys put the second keeper from that team as your reserve?
No, I've got Henderson for my reserve at the moment. I think he's going to have another season like Sheffield. He was a big point scorer there. A lot of saves to come at Forest. I don't know. Before Saturday, the whole thing with this Leicester now, they've got the 2 cheapest goalkeepers. They're like 4 and 4. So a lot of people are doubling up on them for 8 million for 2 goalkeepers, and they'll both play at some point. So no, I don't know. If I want to 0.5 up my sleeve, I might sub one of them in, but we'll see.
I think a good tip for people is to look at Leno at 4.5. Bernd Leno's a very good goalkeeper. Let's not get it wrong. He had a bit of a funk at Arsenal, but man, he's a good keeper, and they'll concede.
It's defense. It's Fulham's defense might be the problem.
But he'll make a lot of saves. Yeah.
So
you just told me don't get Ramsdale, and then you told me to go get Leno. How does that
I'm
make
talking
sense?
as like a backup keeper. I'm not talking for your starter.
Okay.
At 4.5, he's a solid option there. David De Gea, didn't make the cut for me. I can't pick any goalkeeper that has Harry Maguire in front of him, even though he's mates with all you boys
Hey,
now.
doesn't matter who's in front of him. David De Gea will mess it up for himself. Doesn't matter who's in front of him. Couldn't
All
catch
right,
a goal.
boys. Were there any other gems you wanted to share from FPL before we move on?
Reece James.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Reece James. I think
Reece
he
James,
must
if he actually plays in his position.
All right.
at the
Anyone
moment,
else?
yeah. At the moment, yeah.
Cancelo for me, he's solid. Like to me, he's
Yeah.
a top player. He's going to get on it, so I'd definitely be looking to get him. And I have got him. Newsflash, but top player.
Okay, look, for me, I think that Leno tip is a good one. And I'm actually packing Sancho this season. He's got to have a good season. He can't be the British Pepe forever.
Yeah, another one, maybe Coutinho. They got an easy run. Bournemouth, Everton.
Yeah, I've got Leon Bailey at the moment for I think
a
it's
Villa player
5.
there.
Yeah.
I think for the first couple of game weeks, not too bad. But then again, 7 million. Could that be used somewhere else? Possibly.
All right, boys. Before we get to the quick fires, because we've gone for a while, but it is a season preview, right?
Yeah.
We're back. We didn't stream on Tuesday. Put out a great show with the football capital. There's one thing we have forgotten before we do quick fires. We know that one of the big topics of conversation is always manager sackings every season. We know that there are certain managers who are pretty safe for the season. I think United stand by Ten Hag for this season, no matter what happens. I think that Klopp and Pep safe. But can you tell me maybe 2 or 3 managers that you think might need to be on their toes this season? Robbie, can't be Darlow, man.
No, that was just a top tip for the fantasy. I just thought I'd throw it in.
He's not going to get no assists. No assists.
Sorry, Scotty. What was that? Quickly, no, just don't.
Any
just say it
managers
quickly.
that should be on their toes.
Yeah, on their toes. I think it's just going to be out of the 2 that are going to be first. If I think Scotty Parker, I think he's going to be under pressure very quick. And the other one, I think, like I said, Hassan Hoodle. I think I've tipped him to go down. I think one of those teams, like if they're not looking good within the first international break, especially someone like a Bournemouth, people are going to panic like it always happens. International breaks there, bring someone else in and try and get them back on track. So they're my 2 favorites to go first.
Have you got any shocks, like any managers that you think?
Brendan Rodgers.
That's who I thought. Yeah.
All right. RJ, Frankie's name is coming up in the chat from the Spurs boys.
After he comes to Sydney, of course, that he has to still be there, at least until he comes to Sydney.
I don't think Lampard will get sacked. I really don't think he'll get sacked, eh?
Hey, I like Kev's call.
Yeah.
Slippy G.
Slippy G. First manager to get sacked. You love to see it.
Aston Villa have invested a lot, and if they don't perform, why not? They have expectations, so he better deliver on them.
But you know what? Maybe a shock one. Sorry.
Go.
Like I said, if Conte, if it's not looking good for him, and if he wants out, he could walk. Not sacked, but I reckon he could walk. And I do like the Rodgers one. The Rodgers one, to me, I think he should have been sacked last season. And he's still there. So I don't know what he's going to do. He doesn't got players in. But Slippy G is the one, man. I'd love to see it.
Of course you would. I actually think Thomas Tuchel is my out there call. I just think if they don't start well, I've just got bad vibes about Chelsea this season for them.
He's been literally praying with his mantra and his little skeptical wall saying, Chelsea, please fail, please. I think you're more of a Chelsea hater than an Arsenal supporter.
He wants Tuchel at Arsenal.
I don't get where it's coming from, man. I tipped him to win the league in this show last year.
Yeah, with daggers,
I
mate.
praise Tuchel openly, but I think it's going to be one of them things where he may crack it. If things don't start well and he doesn't get signings in, and I'm only making this call based on right now and who you have got. If you get De Jong, Cucurella, like you get a bunch of players and take it off the table, that changes everything. But right now, I could just see it as a bit of a shock. But I do think Rodgers, Frank Lampard, Scotty Parker, all good shouts. All good shouts. Did anyone want to add in any others?
I'm just
What
happy.
about
my
Eddie
team is
Howe?
fucking blocked.
Let's talk about Eddie Howe. Is there some sort of pressure on him with Newcastle? Because he done well at the back of last season, but
I don't
is there a
think they're
sense of
gonna-
expectation for Newcastle? What happens if they start fumbling severely?
They haven't signed enough for the expectation to have.
I
jumped.
expected them to have what Barcelona is doing is what I expected from Newcastle,
Yeah.
which I actually respect a little bit. How they're actually taking it, they're not going crazy. The players they brought in last year, I didn't think were going to be enough. They got them out of their not only just out of relegation, but they moved them right up the table. I don't think they're going to get off the back of last year. I thought they were going to have a massive window. I was going to go Conference League spot. I still think just above 10th, maybe that 8, 9, 10 area. I think I said it's going to be a slow progress. Can't just expect them to go from here to here, in my opinion.
Fair shout.
Awesome.
All right, boys. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. Been a big show. Can't wait for the season to kick off. And for anyone new, make sure you subscribe. If you're watching this back, in the comments, let us know about managers, Golden Boot, who you think qualifies in the top 4. Let us know your thoughts because we'd love to hear them. Are there any quick fires that you boys have prepared? I've got nothing tonight. I've been terrible.
Yep, I have a couple. I'm pretty organised as usual. Just kidding. But I do have some. So my first question for you gents is, who is a player in your club that you feel is serially underrated / underappreciated?
Fred.
Yeah, that's a fair shout.
Robbie?
Yep. Yeah, look, Fred. I'm never gonna say it. Yeah, Fred. I'll go Fred. I think.
Okay.
I think he's got a lot of. I think he can be a baller. I think the system in the last few years hasn't been great. I'm really hoping that turns on its head on Ten Hag, and I think he's again one of our shining players in the off season. So yeah, I'll say Fred as well.
I'm probably going to go with Saka, even though he gets plenty of accolades. I don't think he gets the accolades he deserves. I think there's a gulf in there, so I'm going to go with Bukayo Saka.
For me, I'm going to go the Croatian sensation, Mateo Kovacic. I think there's a lot of potential there, but I just don't think he gets the plaudits he deserves. Which player scores your team's goal of the season, and how does that goal come about?
Granit Xhaka outside the box, man. Lions one
Against
up.
United?
Can only hope.
I don't know the Swiss John Joe Shelby, huh?
The offside goal. Are we counting offside goals? Okay.
Man, I wish he played like John Joe Shelby. I'd be stoked.
Look, I'm gonna go I'm gonna go Martial. He can always bang one in, a nice one, a nice R1-0, from the edge of the area. Finesse shot for me, outside the box.
That's right. Borce?
If Ronaldo stays, it's definitely gonna be him. Bicycle kick against
Arsenal.
Against Arsenal at the Emirates. Sue in front of your clock end, or whatever end you call it. And then they might even have to put on the "You Never Walk Alone" to try G you guys up. But Ronaldo for me, if he stays, if he doesn't stay, I can probably see Christian Eriksen doing something special from outside.
Yeah, free kick or something. I'll see that. Nice.
RJ?
Like the one against Chelsea. Remember that one, RJ?
Rashford's one.
Chelsea?
The knuckle
United
ball.
score goals against us? No. Oh, yes. No, they've scored a few crackers. But I think unless Kante absolutely ruins Manchester United again, that I don't think that will happen. I reckon it'll be Reece James with a long-range wonder goal, like a 25, 30-yard absolute rocket into like the top right-hand corner like he did against Brighton. So I can see something like that. Or even a Mason Mount curler because, he's got it in his locker. Scott, did you say yours or was it Xhaka?
Yeah, Granit Xhaka. This one from Marty. Let's quickly hit this one. Should signs saying, "Can I have your shirt?" be banned from games? Absolutely. I hate it. Hate it.
I agree.
Yes.
I like that.
Ban.
I've seen Ajax, or the Dutch league. They banned it the other day. Good on them.
Good.
Why do you hate it for? Sorry, out of
I
interest.
just think it's annoying. I just think it's stupid, mate. Like,
I think
Yeah,
really,
there's
like
lots of-
back in the day, it was like one or two people. Now it's like every single person in the front row has it now. Like, just get over it. If it happens, it happens. That's it.
yeah, it just irritates me. Can't say why. Well, every kid would love to have a match-worn shirt. Mate, I'd love to have one. They're like $6,000 on the Arsenal website. So, no,
Kids
get
FC.
rid of your signs.
Any more?
I disagree. To me, it's a football thing. I don't care. I don't think if some kid rocks up and says it, what's the big deal? Doesn't hurt anybody, but whatever. All good. And the last one, what do you think is the number one story impacting or relating to your club this season?
Jeez, we've got about
All or
400.
nothing.
Oh, look at Frankie
nothing.
De Jong. Frankie De Jong, Ronaldo, they're obviously going to be the two biggest ones. They're going to go all the way to deadline day. I can't think anything else is going to change that.
I think when Ten Hag lifts the trophy at the end, there will be headlines.
21
Is that like the Florida Cup trophy? Is it? Is that like that trophy? Is it? Or-
It's a
Whatever
great
trophy
cup,
it
mate.
is.
The
As long as
the
you
bank,
see-
get it right, it was the Bangkok Cup, all right?
Yeah, as long as you see
sorry.
armpits, as long as we see the armpits in the air, hey,
The
that's it,
chest
that's all that
pumping?
matters. That's it.
Excellent.
Make the headline. And then everyone can get their clicks because it's Man United. Man United make the most clicks. You drop their name in any conversation. I even saw your yarn with the Aussie Gooner, and I thought I was watching a Man United show for a little bit. You know, my name was dropped towards the end because United get the clicks. But there you go. There you go. Ten Hag to win the league.
All right, boys, my
Well,
quick one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've just got one on is it a football thing? Betting against your own team.
No, for
Yes.
me. It's a
Oh,
straight
wait.
no for me.
Wait. Yes. So this one's a. So yes means what?
It's
Yes,
okay.
It's
It's
okay.
okay
Yeah,
to do.
it is okay. It is okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I do it all the time. So,
Yeah. As long as you're not playing, you know what I mean? As long as it's not one of the players, yeah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
that's it.
Well,
No,
that's
I-
kind of important. But
It is.
Yeah, no, I
I
do
think
it
it's
all
all
the
right to
time.
bet against your team. Win-win, I guess. Win-win situation. But
Yep.
yeah.
Boys, RJ, did you get to answer, mate?
well, I said but no. The answer to that question was no. And the biggest headline for my club is that we'll probably win the Champions League. I'll throw it out there. Why not?
Bruh,
We're a cup team, mate. We're a great cup team.
And you were
laugh,
laughing at the
don't
United
laugh.
boys.
Don't laugh.
your biggest
Mate,
headline
just
will be
focus on
Abramovich-
Europa, lads. Don't worry about Champions League.
Thomas
You might know what it's
Tuchel's
like
back.
one
You'll
day.
focus. We're gonna start the show when you guys drop into Europa League. Then when all of us can be in it together. That's
If
it.
it makes you feel better.
How's it
that's
go,
all right.
Borce? How's it go? The Europa League.
We don't want to get copyright. We don't want to get copyright. We don't want to get copyright. But your
That's
your
right.
headline's gonna be Abramovich wants his money back. Chelsea, you know,
Super yacht.
have that money left.
Finished.
Finish finito. You know, they get deducted 14 points. United sneak into the top 4. Come on.
Stranger things have happened. Boys, it's been an absolute pleasure previewing this season. Football is back. Football is back, and Arsenal and Palace will be kicking off the 22-23 EPL season. This season is going to be all or nothing for lots of teams. Bring your speakers, bring your microphone, do your best drawing, but also make sure you check out Borce's channel, The Football Capital. Link is in the description. And make sure you're back here on Tuesday. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, share, pop a comment in. We'll see you all on Tuesday night. And I have a feeling someone's going to be really upset. One of our team, they couldn't all possibly win. So you make sure you jump in and you give that person hell, as long as it's not me. Good night, everyone. Take care and enjoy your football.
Enjoy the
Take it easy,
weekend.
guys.